Del Rio, Texas, Rob Wade and Robert Garza. Two guys who dive. This episode of Two Guys Who Dive, recorded live 1 November 2014, episode 120. Not my favorite time of year. Well, as you can see, if you were watching the false start of our episode, the test of this new feature in the new software worked. For those who are just joining us, we started the episode and had incorrect episode header because it apparently, the new version that we just downloaded, I mean, literally just a few minutes before the podcast, had some updates and new features to it. And a number of the plugins, the various things that you can do, like titling, lower thirds, screen regions, things like that, are all plugins to the software. So for some reason, the titling didn't work, the save didn't work correctly when I had the scene active, which is how I normally edit the scenes. But there's a new feature in XSplit software that allows us to preview a scene simply if we move our cursor over one of the other 12 scenes. Right now I have the scene called Full Shot as the active scene. If I switch to the one that says Scubadog, then you see me. Voila. And so it's pointing to the camera. We actually have 3 cameras here in the studio. So the preview capability, if I move a cursor over a scene in the lower right corner of the software window, because I see what you see in the main screen, but if I move my cursor over one of the other scenes, a little picture-in-picture shows up in the lower right corner, so I can see what's going on with that. Now, this is kind of cool for someone who's moving towards the more professional type of video broadcasting or netcasting, because it allows you to preview a scene so that you can see what's going on. So if, let's say, there's a person that's supposed to be on camera now, and then you can decide whether to go to that camera or not. Now, in a setup like ours, everything is all in one room. There's no big challenge here. I can see everything that's going on. So if Robert is next to me, it's not a great value to highlight, to move my cursor over the scene that says Scuba Bob to see if he's in his seat, because I can just look next to me and see that he's not there. But if these cameras were remote, if they were in other areas, say an actual full-blown studio, then I may not be able to see from my vantage point if I were actually what do you call it, producer of a show. I'm doing this live, so I can see it. A regular, a typical producer for a show like this that you see on television, they're actually in a control room, and so they're using software like this to control the scenes and letters and titles and all this stuff flying in. So the person who is hosting doesn't control any of this. So I'm doing this live, which is typically what's done for us low budget types. So anyway, but one of the features they added was to be able to right click on that scene, and it brings it up in a new window, and you can make edits to it, which was great because before, if you needed to add, say, titling to something. So, for instance, if you were doing a playing a song in the background that you need to give the proper credits for, and you want to add the titling, well, but as soon as you add a title, it puts it on the screen big. As a matter of fact, let me show you live what that's like. And this is kind of how we make the sausage. This is giving you an insight to how we make the sausage. So any of you folks out there who might be interested in doing a netcast like this, it's not super expensive to do, but you just have to get comfortable with how to manage all this stuff on the fly. And if you looked at some of our early episodes, you'd see how very rough it was. And I mean, still we're learning stuff because they keep adding neat features. But it was very rough in how we managed things, because we just didn't know enough, and the software was still in beta when we were first doing the podcast. So, for instance, I'm now in the full shot. So if I was going to add a title or text, here's what happens. You see that it shows up as the generic title text in there. So then I can change this to and you can set it where it's left justified, right justified. You can set fonts, etc. You can set I'll see if I can find this is funny. There we go. You can set it centered, which typically you want it centered. And so you see me actually making adjustments live on the air here, which is not a fun way, not a professional way to do and then I can uncheck it or check it. Well, so here's the deal with this. I'll remove it. There we go. Remove it. There we go. So with this new feature, I can right click and edit another scene while the active scene, you see the active scene going. So it lets me do these edits behind the scenes so you don't see it, but I can do it while the show is going on, which is great. It's great for me as a host. It's great for somebody who's actually producing a show. So, but apparently it works better. The preview edit seems to work more consistently as far as saving the changes than this update is doing with the actual title, because I had updated all these titles before the show and it didn't save any of them. It looked like it did. And they had this problem before in an early version of this beta, where it would look like it changed everything, but then when you pull it back up, it was back to the same. But at least the preview edit seems to work. So a little bit of making of the sausage here. Let's check the chat room. Don't see anybody in the chat room just yet. And speaking of updates, you're watching this. If you're watching this live, you're watching it on Ustream.tv, which is a great website for podcasting. Now, the interesting thing is, it's free if you don't mind the commercials to do the podcast, to do podcasts. So it throws the commercials in there. It's very expensive if you want to get rid of the commercials. I mean, it's ridiculously expensive if you want to get rid of the commercials. So, switching pages here. But one of the features that I had just discovered literally last week was that they had an app for Facebook. So you can install the app on your Facebook page, like if you go to the Ceti Fox Productions page or our Dive Club, Del Rio Dive Club Facebook page. I installed the app that lets you, it just puts a tab. So you have photos about events, and you see one that says Ustream Live. So you click on that, and it shows you whether that Ustream channel is live or offline. And then you can click on it and go to the live. If it's live, you can go to the live page. So it makes it more convenient if you happen to be following the page and to get to see the live podcast. Well, just on the heels of installing that, I get an email from Ustream where they're announcing that they're going to cease supporting that app. So it's going to cease working. And they make some other suggestions on what to do, which I'm like, what? You've got to be kidding me. So it just seems ridiculous. Just as we get a neat feature, we lose the neat feature. You'd think they work for the government or something. So, no response. Oh, Scuba Bob says, and this is after he told me last night, verified last night, that he was going to be here for the podcast. He says they have a church play, a 15th party, whatever that means. Running late, we'll try to be there. Dude, come on. All right. See, that's bad planning. I keep it all in my Lumia 1020, and so I can keep on top of the comings and goings, the life that is Casa de Wade. So I mentioned earlier that we had, Grace Community Church had our annual Hallelujah Night. It seems to grow every year. We get so many people that come through. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people that come through. And we provide, we have free hot dogs and sodas and water. We have a lot of little, I don't know what you call them, booths that have different games that you can play, etc. We have a prayer booth, and we have music playing. Contemporary Christian music playing. I end up emceeing every year and have a blast doing it. We have a costume contest with different age groups and split between boys and the girls, and that's always successful. It seems like the costumes get more impressive every year that people come through for this. And, of course, we give them a goodie bag that has candy and stuff like that as they leave. So it's a good, safe, well-lit, comfortable area. It's outdoors, but it's a comfortable environment for families to bring their kids, and safe, and it's just a great opportunity to kind of give to the community. And once again, smashing success. Appreciate all the volunteers that helped to put it together and take it apart again after it was all done. And we had all sorts of stuff like a huge, like 3-story tall rock wall to climb. We had bouncing castles. We had little pony rides. We had a bull riding machine. I mean, it's crazy the stuff that we're providing. So, again, it was a great success. Be reminded, it's daylight savings time change again. So tonight, before you go to bed, set your clocks back. You fall back, you spring forward. So you're going to set your clocks back. Otherwise, you're going to be at church early, which probably for some people would not be a bad idea. We have a lot of folks that show up late. Don't get that. Let's see. Movie reviews. I got nothing. Once again, same old garbage from Cinemark Theaters here in Del Rio, and I've tweeted my complaint to them. Of course, it falls on deaf ears, but I'll use the tools that I have at my disposal. But in the vein of movie news, saw some information on a reboot of Terminator, and let me see if I can switch to the screen region here. So they're really, and apparently the Terminator fans are not, I repeat, are not happy. They've all new characters, although apparently Arnold is reprising his role, but it's a totally different twist on it. It's called Terminator Genesis, as you can see here. First of 3 planned films. Let's see. So supposedly, basically all new actors except for Arnold. The way they're redoing this is, let's see. Sarah Connor isn't the innocent she was when Linda Hamilton first sported feathered hair and acid-washed jeans. Nor is she the Hamilton's steely zero body fat warrior in 1991's T2. So basically, the way they're redoing it, she was orphaned by a Terminator, and then, by a Terminator, and then raised by Schwarzenegger's Terminator that she calls Pops, and goes from there. So she develops all the skills, but she's socially inept, I guess you'd say. So I apparently nobody is really happy with the reboot. And that's what typically happens. A lot of these, I would say most of these reboots are horrible because they try rather than try to come up with something original to continue the franchise, they just start all over. And I'm just scared that it's exactly what they're going to do with the Alien franchise, which is one of my favorites, and you just can't top H.R. Giger. He passed away, by the way, I think last year. And they did a nice job with, in my opinion, with Prometheus, which is kind of a parallel backstory piece going on. But if they try to reboot the series, I will definitely throw the yellow flag on that. So, I don't think it says when this is coming out, but we'll see. Don't know if I'll go see that. They had a kind of neat thing with the Sarah Connor Chronicles, but kind of a filling in the gaps series, but unfortunately that didn't survive very well. And again, just bad design, bad planning on the network's part, and not properly. I think it was not properly marketed, actually. So, all right. So on with. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, and tech news. Of course, if you've been following me at all on Twitter, Facebook, or more recent podcasts, netcasts, I cannot stand Windows 10. I hate it. I hate everything about it. It is horrible. I love Windows 8.1 with the exception of a few aspects of it. Well, I just think now, because all the whiners holding on to Windows 7 and probably XP, what they've done with the Windows 10 Tech preview is basically puked Metro all over the desktop and just thrown Metro under the bus. But apparently, and I'm not the only one, there are a lot of people, not a majority by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot of people are not happy with where Windows 10 is going. Well, apparently Microsoft has promised to release a more consumer-focused update to the tech preview sometime in 2015, but I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not holding my breath. I think I'm probably going to be one of those that stays on Windows 8.1 because Windows 10 is horrible in every aspect. It is horrible. But in positive news, a company called eFun. I'd never heard of them. eFun, capital F-U-N, has, I guess they're known for Android, Nextbooks running Android, very, very low-priced ones. Well, they announced a $179 Windows 8.1 tablet that has a removable keyboard. So they've kind of taken their cue from the Surface, which I love. I absolutely love my Windows Surface Pro 3, or Microsoft Surface Pro 3. I love it. But not everybody can afford or needs all the power of that. They may be the Android price range type people, but still need the kind of functionality they can get with the actual Windows tablet that you can't get with an iPad and you can't get with an Android tablet. Well, eFun has released a Nextbook. Let's see if I can bring it up. Nope. Here we go. Switch to screen region here. The Nextbook 10.1. It's a quad-core Windows tablet with a Pogo keyboard. Let's see some other aspects of it. So you can see it just snaps into place, so you don't have to keep the keyboard with it, just like the Surface Pro. Let's see, 10.1 inch display, so it's a little bit smaller than the Surface Pro, which is 12. So it's closer to like the Surface 2. Let's see. Quad core, 1.83 gigahertz Intel Atom processor, 1280 by 800 pixel touch screen. So it's nice resolution. It's a little bit better than HD. 32 gigabytes of onboard storage, but you can expand it because it's got a SD card or micro SD card slot. 1 gig of RAM, so it's not going to be a super powerhouse, but it will do the stuff you need it to do if you're not trying to if you're not looking to fully replace your powerful laptop, but you need something that gives you the tablet aspects, but allows you to do Office, etc., your email and all that, the consume media, video, audio, that kind of thing. Let's see. Comes with a free subscription, 1 year of Office 365, which is awesome. And let's see. And because of the processor, it evidently has some incredible battery life, which is a good deal. Can't believe they didn't show some of the other specs. It's got a micro HDMI output, USB 3.0, Bluetooth 4, Wi-Fi. So it's got almost all the hardware features of about the same hardware features of as far as connectivity as my Surface Pro. So again, if you've got a smartphone, you can slave it to that so it can get on the internet either by Wi-Fi or slave it to your phone. Windows Phone supports slaving internet sharing either by Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, so that's great. And because it's got the Bluetooth 4.0, it's got the low power support as well. So for syncing devices so it doesn't sap your juice in the traditional Bluetooth sense. So that's pretty cool. So the eFun Nextbook 10.1, and Walmart is selling them, which is pretty cool. Which means finally we're going to have a real Windows tablet for sale at Walmart. They kind of ran the really, really poor quality like Asus and Acer ones. I mean, they were horrible devices, and they were only the Windows RT ones, so you couldn't install typical legacy programs on it. But you can, because on the Nextbook 10.1, because it's the regular 10.1 or 8.1 Pro. It's not the RT version, so you get the benefits of both worlds. So that's pretty cool. And in fact, what I've taken to do with my Surface is it's replaced a lot of my paper. Not only has it replaced my laptop in almost every way, it's also replaced a lot of paperwork, because I can detach the keyboard so easily, and I can bring up all of our charts, for instance, for the band that I'm in or in our praise team. All of our charts are in Word, Microsoft Word. So being able to pull up all of my sheet music on a tablet and be able to see it in much easier than I could the sheets that I've printed out. What a benefit. And it's just the right size to set up on music stand, etc., and read it. So I recommended to our bass player that, because he's like me, he's got all this. Actually, he's not as organized as me. I've got all of my sheet music in a big binder, huge binder that's about to fall apart. His are all in like a satchel, so they're all free. He has to flip through. They're not alphabetized or easy to find. So I suggested that he get one of these Nextbook 10.1s to put all his music on, so that he could pull it up right there on his stand. It's all organized and easier to carry. Plus, you can do other things with it. And made the same suggestion for my wife, so I've ordered her one. So it has shipped, and so we're anxiously waiting its arrival, and so we can get her set up so she can have the best of both worlds with that. So that's pretty cool. So $179, what a deal! The eFun Nextbook 10.1, Windows 8.1 device, $179. Available, should start showing up at Walmart's here shortly. Because like I said, ours just shipped yesterday. Okay, on to other news. We kind of talked about the Ebola issue last couple of episodes, and it is crazy that, thankfully, we've had 2 people that have been cured, or maybe it's 3, been cured using some of our experimental treatments, and that's a great thing. And we have one healthcare worker who had treated one of the Ebola victims. She was up in Maine, and Maine had instituted a quarantine, a mandatory quarantine for healthcare workers who come into contact with somebody who's got Ebola. Well, she didn't take kindly to that. Nurse Casey Hickox has she decided, no, I don't agree with that, and decided to go on a bike ride, and basically she's kind of thumbing her nose at the quarantine. Now, I'm a freedom guy. I'm all behind making sure the government doesn't have too heavy a hand. And I don't trust our government, okay? I just simply don't. And I think it's entirely, the doomsday movies, the apocalypse movies, where a heavy-handed government has wrenched down control on an unsuspecting public in the name of security, in the name of safety. We see those movies all the time. And I don't think, given the environment now and the type of government that we have, who's in charge now, I don't put it past. I don't think it's totally outside the realm of possibility that could happen. But I do think that there is some prudence to be had here when you have a disease that is so absolutely dangerous as Ebola. For people to just be so absolutely selfish that they don't say, you know what, even if there's not a government requirement, a state requirement, whatever, for me to be quarantined, I'm going to set myself apart, separate myself from people whom I might communicate this with until we're sure that I'm clear. That is just the common, decent thing for people to do. And I would think that a nurse who is this close to being a doctor, why would she take this kind of attitude and just say, and just take the attitude of just saying, I'm going to thumb my nose at the quarantine because I don't think I should be trapped in my house or trapped in whatever. Use some sense. I have no respect at all for a person like that who's in the medical profession who decides to thumb their nose at what should be common sense. If it were me, I'd say, yes, you're free to do what you want to do, but I don't think you have any business being a nurse if you're going to take that attitude, take that position. You are willfully increasing the risk to people around you until we know for sure that you do not have Ebola or some other highly communicable, highly deadly disease. It just really angers me that people are so self-centered that way that they can't just simply say, 21 days is not a long time to just kind of, stay at home, watch TV, watch satellite, play video games, do work remotely, put her on administrative work for 21 days. So she does stuff remotely. I mean, technology lets us do that. It's amazing to me that this Casey Hickox would take this kind of position. Even though she's fully in her rights to do so, and I watch very carefully a government that tries to play a heavy hand, but it wouldn't require a government to tell me, you know what, I might be infectious. What's the time frame for me to be separated from everybody in case I do have something that's communicable? 21 days? Cool. All right, I'll stay at the house. Send me stuff that you need, or send me stuff that I need. Just do the tests, watch, observe. If I get it all clear, go back to work like nothing happened. No big deal. It's 21 days off. Okay? Just amazing to me. What kind of a society have we built that people are that stupid, that selfish? All right, on to more fun stuff like scuba diving, and checking the chat room. Nobody in the chat room. Did another dive today. I was bound and determined to do a dive today, so I went out to of course, Spur. Oh, no, that was interesting. I went out to Spur 454 again. The lake is actually up yet another, probably another foot. And I neglected to take a picture of the shoreline that I normally go into, just so you can see. But it was clearly up some more. But I did get a dive in, and I'm going to show you. It's a rough cut of the video, because literally I finished up after refilling my tank and everything, a little bit after 6. Got back to the house about 6:35, something like that. Of course, cleaned up, and I started work on the video. So let me I'm gonna do this test again, see if I can get the screen region to work. Yeah, that works nicely. All right, here we go. That's interesting. I hope that's going to work. Yeah. All right, so we're going to bring this up. Let me save and apply the changes. And I'm going to show you the video from the dive. Here we go. The interesting thing about the formation, the wall here, is that the cliffs that you see above the water are actually outcroppings. The wall actually cuts inward the deeper you go. In fact, it's below 50 feet is where most of it starts to cut in. Okay, so that was the dive today, this afternoon, late this afternoon, at Spur 454 at Lake Amistad. So it gives you an idea. So the reason why this is not my favorite time of year is because the temperature starts to drop, and those who are not, well, of course, this year has been such that I haven't run into a lot of really hardcore divers, people who dive, even when the weather is prime for it. But this is usually when, even if I have folks that divers who dive regularly during the prime season, they don't show up. They stop going out at this point. And it's very frustrating because this is still, if you've got the right wetsuit, this is still good. This is still good weather to dive in. You just got to make sure you have a way to warm up afterward. Like I said, the temperature has steadily been dropping over the last few weeks. Went to 73 to 72, 71. This dive was 71 degrees. And, most people don't like to wear the heavy wetsuits. They'd like to go without a wetsuit or, a 3 mil shorty at max. But the thing is, I say it so many times. A C card means you can dive, but diving makes you a diver. I don't understand why folks who are certified don't keep up the diving throughout the season. I'll try to go at least once a month, even if I'm throwing the whole hood and gloves and everything on, just to get a dive in, even if it's a very short dive. The beauty is I've got the dive trailer. So, like today, it was pretty breezy. The temperature outside was 74 degrees, and with the water at 71. But with the wind chill, it was probably warmer in the water than it was out of the water. And definitely, when I got finished with the dive and I'm walking up the hill to the dive trailer, the parts of me that were exposed to the breeze, I was getting pretty chilled. I was looking forward to opening up the trailer and climbing in. And I had strategically parked the trailer so that the wind was coming at the head of the trailer, not at the opening. So as soon as I got into the trailer, I was perfectly protected from the breeze, and it was nice and comfortable in there. I had my towel and everything I could dry off. So, folks who want to continue diving throughout the season or throughout the year with me, just let me know. I mean, I've got the dive trailer. You can warm up in there. Can get protected from the elements, and it's just a good setup for those who want to be a little bit more adventurous and not just go dormant as far as diving is concerned, just because the temperatures drop. But this is definitely not my favorite time of year, because the chances of getting folks to dive with me are almost zero. And there's just a lot of things going on that make it challenging to even have as much time to go out and dive. So, but that's what it was. That's what it was like out there today. We'll see how many more dives I can get in. I will have officially gotten my dive for November, because it's the 1st of November. I will have officially gotten my dive in for this month. So if it turns out that I can't get any more dives in this month, then my next target is to try and get one in December. All right, let's move on. We're running a little bit past 9 o'clock. Just a couple of bits of information. Living Water Sound, the contemporary Christian band that I'm in, it looks like we have a ministry event that we're going to be playing at November 9th in Bracketville. So if you're in the Del Rio, Southwest Texas area and you want to come see a number of bands, but I guess we're what would be loosely termed the headliner. Living Water Sound will be in Bracketville on the 9th of November. So we're looking forward to that. doing some of our originals as well, some covers of some contemporary Christian music, praise music. So hopefully we'll see you there. Let's see. DEMA, the Dive Equipment Manufacturer Show. Mentioned this last week, but just want to kind of keep it out there for those folks who are professional divers. Let me kill that. There we go. So that means if you're a dive master or higher, not master diver, dive master, you can go to, or you own a dive shop, you can go to this show. There's admittance fee and all that fun stuff, but it's the 19th through the 22nd of November in Las Vegas this year. Next year, I'm sure if they don't break from tradition, they'll flip it over to Orlando. They typically go back and forth between Las Vegas and Orlando. So if you're interested in that, just go to demashow.com and you can get all the information you need. You can sign up or register and get your hotel and all that fun stuff. Those are pretty cool. I have yet to actually go to one, but the instructor who got me hooked into all this was a regular there, and he would come back with all sorts of interesting stories and experiences there. You get little takeaway goodies and things like that, which are pretty cool. So that's DEMA Show, Dive Equipment Manufacturers Association, for 2014 is November 19th. Through the 22nd. All right, let's hit some administrivia. Next Dive Club meeting, 20 November, 7 p.m. Rudy's Restaurant. Love to see you there. Have some good food. No more dive classes unless it's by request. And you better have some good money together because it's going to get cold quick. And you better have a good wetsuit. And be ready to spend a lot of time in the water because you will. If you need an air fill, Mike McCarson has a setup, big cascade system out at Broke Mill RV Park out on Highway 90 West. If you give him a call at 830-719-2935, give him a call ahead of time so he knows you're coming, and he'll make sure that everything's spun up and can fill your tanks and get you taken care of. Again, we volunteer every Monday evening at a Pet's Wish, and I actually volunteered yesterday afternoon. They were desperate for some help, and helped them out yesterday afternoon, but typically we go in on Monday nights, but they really, 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 really need volunteers. So if you can give up a couple of 3 hours in the morning or in the evening, just let them know. Just look them up on Facebook, look them up on the web, and they could really use your help if you're in the Del Rio area. If you can't volunteer your time, although that's what they need most desperately right now, they also need money to cover the vet bills that they pay out the kazoo for, and as well as donations for various supplies. They go through insane amounts of kitty litter, paper towels, chlorine bleach to keep everything clean and disinfected, dog food, cat food. It's just crazy the amount of stuff that they go through on a daily basis. So look them up. Be a good friend and donate to help them out, or give them some of your time. That's even better. And I think that pretty much covers everything that we've got for this week. We're at about almost 15 minutes over, but that's okay. Hope you enjoyed the video of what it's like diving out here at Lake Amistad. I will try to, I will make best effort to take video each time, since it'll be less frequently that I'll be diving as the weather gets colder. I will endeavor to bring the camera each time so you can kind of see, along with me, the changes in visibility and kind of see what there is to see as the weather changes and the conditions change at Lake Amistad. And I'm hoping that the visibility will really dramatically open up this winter. Typically that does happen, but not always. As the temperature drops, a lot of the algae is typically killed off, goes dormant, and so though that isn't, the water should be less green as we go. but we'll see what happens. We've had winters that were extremely mild, and it really didn't kill it off a lot, and so visibility was still horrible. And today was pretty windy, so I was really expecting the visibility to be much worse than it was. But on the calmer days, when we've had several days of not very much wind, the visibility also improves. So we'll see what happens this year. We have no idea what the weather's going to be like here. That's why we kind of have a saying around here. We have 2 seasons in Del Rio, summer and February, because all the other weather seems to come in February. It's just crazy. So, all right. That covers everything that we've got for this week. I don't anticipate any issues. Let's see. No? Actually, next weekend is the gig. So, there's a good possibility we won't have the podcast next week. I will keep you posted. If you jump on our Facebook page, just look for Del Rio Dive Club on our Facebook page, and you can contact us there. I always post a lot of the of the moment kinds of things there. And of course, if you just want general information about the club and diving in the area, dive classes, those kinds of things, just check out our website, delriodiveclub.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you're forewarned. It could be a dangerous place. Just look me up at RobertCFP, or send me email. I'll respond to you, I promise. Robert.wade@cetifox.net. And so hopefully if the gig gets canceled or something else happens, then we'll see you next week. But otherwise, it looks like it'll probably be 2 weeks from tonight that we'll have our episode 121. And so, as always, we love it when you guys are here and can jump in the chat room. Don't be bashful, because we'll interact with you. But leave us comments on our YouTube page as well, and subscribe so that you'll be made aware of whenever we post new episodes. Because I will be uploading this episode right after we get finished here. And so we will see you in a couple of weeks on the next episode of Two Guys Who Dive. See ya.